hope. Let's hope it fucking works this time, man. That'll be nice. I would like to actually play this game today. Hello? Oh god, I thought it was gonna like... I thought the game had fully broken. Alright, we'll just load game. I'll load off my autosave. I'll load off that one. And now we see if the game loads. Yeah, are you still in the chat, Dix? Did I lose you in my whole fuckery? I feel like I did. Disco Daddy. Catty nah. Disco Danny is a good name. Hey, it loaded. Hey. What was I doing? Roundabout north. Cape Side Park. What's this? Broken window. Tips as windows. What's this bin? Let's just sell the bottles. We just did. We have a different squall of squealers. Squall! That guy's fucked. What's this little bag? It's my bag now. Can I collect them bottles now?
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Kib, look, bullet holes.
Where?
Puts the chips in the walls. Someone has been shot. We're cops, we should solve it.
There? Those are old.
What do you mean old?
These bullets were fired during the revolution, over half a century ago. They do not warrant investigation.
Do I want to learn about the revolution now? Sure.
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it.
Kim's cagey about the old revolution. He doesn't want to talk. I'm sure we'll find out why at some point. What's this? Bowls. Can I not go to that bin anymore?
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle. While looking, your money disappears into the coin slot. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was a
and the description is this fucking
nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it.
Must have took so fucking sorry. It must have took so long. God. Fuck. What I'm trying to say is, it must have took so long to write this game.
Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Hang in there, little one.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
There are ruins of some kind of building there.
I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
See, I never get these things, these stupid things. They're usually on the side of a beach, man.
Is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Probably some kids.
It's probably fucking Kuno, isn't it? Bloody Kuno. Yeah, these like viewer things that are on the edge of beaches, you can never see anything. It's just the sea. It's an absolute waste of money, man. On like a really clear day, you used to be able to maybe see like make out an island between Wales and Ireland, or maybe even Ireland itself. I don't know. I wasn't best on the geography for fucking Wales. But yeah, they were a waste of money. I think I spent money on one once and I didn't see anything. I thought, fuck that. What was the point? What was the point? Oh, I could open that door. Can I open this door? I can. You fucking what? This is blood.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
The streams will not flow with blood.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
A lot of them all got British accents. Well, except for the French ones. I don't know why they've all got British accents. I just want to know your name, little lady. No need to get defensive. We'll start with the blood type and go from there.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, big man. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
That's not what I meant. Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Is it?
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features.
That's the squealer.
The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing.
Sounds fun.
You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best.
Oh, fuck yes. I'm down to get wacky, man.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to us on.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. An aereo graffitio visible from low orbit.
Man, you might have been able to hear me on my laptop in the background.
I haven't really
I apologise if you
yet.
can. It's been like that the
I'm
whole
waiting
time.
for the right words.
I'm very sorry. I've only just realised. We're so committed to defacing the building.
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this. You want to hear it?
Yeah?
I'm a public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You've lessened her desire to face the
Ha! That's good.
Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Ungulate? The fuck is an ungulate? What's that? A blue naval coat. Can I wear that? These menus are weird, man. I don't know what fucking about it, but fucking menus. Replace lost bool. Just hold my plastic bag. Hey, look at my coat. I don't know why I'm holding it back. And the crowbar as well. Just running around with a bag and a crowbar. Some magnesium. That's an element.
A striking woman.
Hello,
leans
Joyce.
against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
Hello, Joyce.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
My maiden name.
Bodie had the daggles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk?
I'm not gonna shake her
I'm
hand.
glad to see you here.
She just dissed me?
She is unfazed by your rudeness, probably chalking it up to...
I was dispatched to handle a strike. not a
My
lynching.
rudeness.
Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Thanks for the heads up, Kim.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an archipelago.
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Caillou, I thought we were in Revachol.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Still haven't seen anyone else sail a bit around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Excuse me?
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a type.
Kid fucking looks like Carter.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19, because that's the type of sloop it is.
Wow, how boring.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
It really does.
A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something. Or someone.
Ah. Cool, but your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cordelechi 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelechi, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
Dunno, feels pretty.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, but what kind of boat
It's a
is it?
pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How'd you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Can I see the license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas. Even finished once.
Still need to see a license, ma'am.
Actually, you don't.
Pretty sure I do. I police.
It is a little known fact among those road police that the Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license.
Ah. Wait, exactly how little known is this fact?
I was just being polite. Even school children know the Wayfarer Act.
Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I don't have a question.
About the boat?
I think I have a handle on the boat thing. It's about this boat that you're on. You seem rich. Can I have some money?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
What? Why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What lustrous hair?
A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities.
Yes, sir.
Now look at you. You misery-clad simian. Barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
Ashamed? I'm not ashamed.
Oh, but you are. Too ashamed to ask this person for money. Too scared to belittle yourself in her eyes. Those half-precious stones of Erdenin.
As I was
Oh,
saying,
shit.
if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to
Disarm
ask.
first. Do not disarm the force. Wait, can I? No. Tell me about Wild Pines, what do you do?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
So what do they do?
Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
How much money does Wild Pines
I'm
have?
not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Oh,
A billion?
I owe so much less than that.
Yes, Past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops
Does Wild
moving,
Pine get all
growing,
these
it will
billions?
die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
Oh, quite the endeavour indeed.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
An octopus? I will slay it.
Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
Fucking coalition government.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know
Don't
about the
remind
strike.
me of the coalition government. What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
It's just like a lady.
And how are the talks going?
Just talks to people.
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a
Ooh,
week
Kim's
ago,
fucking
after
jumping
that
in now.
awful lynching
Kim
took
wants
place.
these guys' own questions.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Blockhead? I've had a bit of a tangle with old Blockhead a few times. Oh, you mean Measurehead?
Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead.
How the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Cool.
Yes. Extremely. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive.
I don't know what to think about that.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, It needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Workers can't be kings. The king is king. The king is dead, long live the workers.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start. I'm not
What are
sure.
you gonna do?
Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
Tell me about this union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Man, she is just spilling the tea here, man. It's telling us everything. Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Oh, there are two of them.
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
About the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare.
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly
Débardeurs.
normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that.
God, the amount of bureaucracy in this game. Everything is acts and unions and all sorts of shite.
Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
prefer not to have an opinion on these things. I don't know, man. I actually don't know. Basically a socialist mob.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts
just
to
saying
a
what she
crime
wants to hear.
syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
You said something happened in the elections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Era.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Well, maybe let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
Heard of billions? So I might be able to get somebody up if I get something
Quite
good
a
out of this
few
last
things,
bit.
I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced
Shit.
ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from
My guy don't
Precinct
have a name,
57.
right?
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Well, when my partner told you I'd suffered recently from an unusual medical episode, my lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything in this world to see. Nothing.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
How do I negotiate my way out of this? I could get this.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuates.
Surely there's some other ways to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or, you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse me for a moment, madam. Sure. Oh.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How could you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Oh, so we're henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
Would you propose that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
I'm sorry for putting us in this situation. I'll handle it.
It would not hurt if you tried more in the future, yes.
Let's get back to them.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and
Meth.
various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
These materials come to Samara, from Samara to Revachol through the terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dockworkers Union. Still,
Jesus.
every chain has its weak link.
What do you mean?
The lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
You'll be indebted to her, in a way. But one step ahead of the Union in another.
Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCN. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries.
I don't know if I'll get
However-
money off her.
This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carrier.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Proof do you have that the Union is involved?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself.
I already know one.
But she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman.
Yes?
Yes, we will take this chaos probe drive and see what it yields.
Excellent.
The jam
According to my
mystery.
reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something.
I already know one
It may come
I
to
remember
nothing,
one
or it
being,
may just blow
like,
the gates
pre-open.
wide open.
when I was
I
talking
can
to her.
keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least,
In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
I guess all for
Of course, Detective. Take care.
now. Okay. Let me run up here. I'll run to the next bit. And then I need to have a wash now. So I'll go to work a little bit. Let's go, Kim. Right. How much points do I have? I had two. That was the time. The 15th in Detroit. Log points. Detroit. When I finish Heidelberg up, I'll just skip that shit. It's 3 o'clock. I was not sure that is this good. Alright. I will be back in a second. Well, it won't be a second, it'll be a little bit. Fucking hell, man, look at all this shit. Yeah, back in a sec. Just set my washing out. I'll put another wash on. That won't be long. don't know how long it was. Was it long? I mean, I can look back later. See how long it was. It didn't feel that long. Pretty fucking efficient at washing. Where's my water? Fuck. Just appeared out of the air. Okay, so this dude. Find out about
again,
this
my man.
drug stuff.
What's on your mind?
Sound like a man knows about drugs.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times surfing the psychic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
Just be straight with him.
I need to get high. I'm looking for a dealer. Just be straight with it. Let me be straight with you. I'm trying to figure out who's smuggling drugs out to my bed.
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor to load it on their lorry and drive it to Jamrock.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration.
Who do you think could be conducting the trade?
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
It's not a lie. It's something else. Impossible to say what at this point, but there's something in him. Some trepidation.
You see, it's always fuck. Yeah, it's paying some change for work and
Huh?
stuff.
Oh, the bosses, man.
That's someone's first work empire.
Makes sense. It sucks is what it does.
Maybe don't tell people. The people they don't like are actually right.
Go for it.
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. Flecks of brown and gold. It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon. The road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or ramping up or down highways. It forms a crisscross pattern across the land.
Where does it lead?
Above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway, and then the never-ending sprawl of Forburg, high above buildings, new and old, the air filled with the rumble of motor engines. To the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance, past Montmartin, the border approaches.
It's beyond the belt.
You cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks. It is cold. Before you stands a tall lorry driver with sad eyes.
And what's in the southwest?
Excuse me?
Really, you can tell me. Hell, I get longing. I felt something similar to... He's just fucking... totally fucking cool. What's wrong with him? Really? Hell, I get longing. I felt something similar since I woke up.
Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home. Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much, on another island called Laurentide, off mainland. We've got a little place there. I can almost hear my kid laugh when it snows.
It's right in there somewhere.
What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios in great detail of living with them. It comforts me. What about you, cop man? You missing someone?
Is that what it is? This feeling? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
There's someone, but I don't know who it is.
I feel for you, my friend. It's bad enough to know who you miss. Missing like that doesn't feel like it has much of an upside. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through your own troubles.
Thanks, man. Tell me more about this
It's like,
story.
whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
What's the union?
Some
demand?
pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
What do you think the company
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Anything else I should know?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do. Us lorry drivers. Cam, your nurse. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Not you.
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
That's all for now. Alright. Good talk. Well, let's see what lorry drivers I spoke to. Okay, it's just black head in the other guy. Let's go.
Welcome to it.
Do continue.
Come.
I know exactly, but you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
King's getting Larry.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
Fucking A, Kim, I gotta get back. Gives the lieutenant a punch on the shoulder.
You two make a cute couple. You know that?
The lieutenant exhales. You sense slight embarrassment for the outburst. Or is it pride? Impossible to tell.
Oh, that's so. We have a couple of
Whatever
questions.
you say, officers.
Got smoke.
No.
He's got a smoke right there in his fucking hand. Snatch that shit out of his fat fingers. You need it after listening to his garbage.
Smoking one right now?
It's my last one.
You haven't smokes from me.
Why would I do that? I'm an honest man.
Fuck I are.
But what, officer?
Shit.
Sorry I couldn't be of any help.
You're alone, right? Let's just start some drugs.
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector.
I should go speak to Q now.
They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
Hold on, but they make El Ghul in Ilmara too. I was told they do.
I don't go for that foreign piss. Proper booze is made in Mundi. Or sometimes I like a dram of that Yugograd vodka. Koikos and worse much, but they do no booze.
Mr. Library, it's our responsibility to keep this person off the streets of Rubbish, all right.
He eyes you warily, unsure how to respond. This goes on for about 2 seconds. Then,
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Then why are you still hanging around here for? Most of their come-on years have left.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
there was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved his country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some Kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to. It's a fucking travesty, is what it is.
It's like you then he's wearing drugs for channel.
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well. He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employer stuff. Stuff he stole after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry.
Where do I find him?
Just follow the smell. It smells like apricot and oil when you're nearby.
Yes, yes. Where is he?
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. Sealang's usually a little bit south of here, near the canal. You can't miss him. Just watch yourselves. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%.
Racist wanker.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself has to say.
Guess we have to pay Sealang a visit then.
Guess so.
We're going from our racist one. South. Have I been south before? Sealang?
G'day to you, officers.
Got a little blade. Look at him.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them. His posture is relaxed. Despite his powerful build and a knife in his hand, this man resorts to physical intimidation only infrequently, if at all.
First things first, what are you doing here, man, on the waterlock?
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating their salami.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and grey overalls waving at you from across the canal. He seems disappointed about the wreckage on the waterlock and the salami.
Very good stuff. Anything I can do? Like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Revachol.
Is it?
The words daredevil driver sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here. Especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then.
Can I have some of that salami?
Sure thing.
Oh,
Want some too, officer?
Why not?
fuck yeah. Oh god. Do you know what's further down the coast?
Well, there's
I
the
think I got some
fishing
health back
village,
for that.
an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins.
Alright, bye. Nice guy. Yeah, yeah. Still on? Shit. Okay. Nice pawn shop. Let's go south to see this little score. Is this him?
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Sileng.
Happy shopping, officer! Everything's cool here.
So cool.
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer.
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang!
Really? I think I'm cool.
Oh, yes! You got style. You got personal style. You know what you like. You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions.
Where are you from? Sileng.
Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business now. All Revachol.
But you're not a local.
Very sharp, officer. I'm Serais, from the Sigai province of the Serais Empire. The apricot suzerainty, you know?
Was it called that? What's the word? That's there?
The apricot suzerainty is what the Sigai archipelago is commonly known as in Revachol. It's a bit of a fraught term, I'm sure you understand.
No, apricots come from Sigai. My grandma used to grow them. But Sigai is a shithole. That's why I came to Revachol. Here's much better for an independent entrepreneur. Less laws. Speaking of, why not support an independent local entrepreneur? I send half my profits back to my grandma in Sigai.
Well, if it's for his grandma, you should buy a lot of things.
So Sileng is just stands on drugs.
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
Super into
That's
drugs.
very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale. Or at my home, or on my person.
We're looking for a lorry driver who's transporting drugs out of the harbour. He or she is in this traffic jam.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But, I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
You are a lorry driver, and other drivers identify you and your lorry.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me
graphics just get
because
better.
I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
So you got to tell me.
Exactly! It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity.
Subscribing. What do you know about the drug operation of the harbour?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd, you know, the drug crowd.
He doesn't want to talk about them. He's afraid.
Are you afraid of Silang?
Look, there's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up.
What bloody Silang? Help us out. No one knew it was you.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Who are these other drivers who talk?
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos.
This is lady driver, the old woman back there. That is
I
strange.
don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
It could be. She was strange.
Okay, cool now.
All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detective. Both of you. You deserve it.
Oh, that's great, man. It depends. I still feels that old lady. Give me -1. Fuck you, man.
Over.
Find out who's the lady driving, where's the lie. It's probably not the old lady.
Hello again, officer. How are things?
How do you feel, tell me?
Hello again, my man. What's on your mind?
I heard that one of the drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know there's a lady driver?
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't mean to pry, but I need your help. She may be involved with the drug business.
Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is.
Tommy Laham, you fucking fucked up here, mate. I asked you who's conducting the drug trade, you said you didn't know. Now you're saying you did.
I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
He still is. Hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part. Not trickery.
Who's this person or something?
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why. A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay?
What's she look like?
A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and Violet died. It was Violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
When did she leave?
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much.
We can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this. This is information only.
I don't believe you.
Wait, what's it really is?
I just can't, man. I'm not naive.
I do like you, Tommy the Hammer. You're pretty fucking smart. Such as trouble how?
She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not.
I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Did this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind.
Hold on, her mind?
The way it worked. The trouble it was giving her.
The pain it was causing her.
Maybe it's the woman in the world in Ragsman. Yeah, from the start.
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Push Tommy, and it will break his heart and his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
Thank you, friend. Wow, this makes me feel like I should pick up smoking again. Would help with my rhymes, too.
Maybe a good go see Tommy because you're cool. I feel like he might help me out later.
Looking for something?
Yeah, been giving me the runaround. Fess up, where's the lady driver?
I don't know what you're talking about.
First, you knew Sealang didn't do it.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods, and they're not...
He's been expecting this. He's really puffed himself up.
Why are you smirking?
Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Revachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run anything.
Just tell me who the goddamn lady driver
You're
is.
all bark and no bite. The real dogs are up in Jamrock. Everyone knows that.
You mean La Puta Madre?
The name resounds like a bell in the air. A dark gong. You get a bad feeling about it.
Got a feeling about this.
Looks like the lieutenant has a plan. Let him do this.
Yeah, him.
Cross your arms and nod.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies who'd do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is. It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorryman and Carter's Guild.
You've seen the corpse in the yard, yes? You took a peek. I know you did. Does it look like his friends protected him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible... I softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job.
Oh, damn. Let's go for it.
Men like this only respect two things: strength and fear. Time to turn up the volume.
Show me how low, like, fucking now. The lady driver's lorry. Where is that?
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Do you know, fuckhead? I'm gonna go on police radio saying this guy told Madre to fuck off.
Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green, banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Now it's not a big deal for him anymore. This is how he saves face.
Where exactly is her lorry?
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Now leave me the fuck alone, okay?
A small temple by the monument. Green.
Looks like he got his adrenaline up, too.
Right, yeah. Dickhead. There's a green one. For the money. This one?
This green found 8.
This must be the one he told us about. Unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and 2 steering levers. It feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private, cozy, warm, dusty too.
Try the door.
The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced.
I'm gonna get this open. Yeah.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside.
Really?
This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
I'm gonna be able to do it. Too weak.
Pry bar in hand, you take a hard swing at the window. A loud thunk rings out and the pry bar bounces back, leaving a tiny spider web on the glass. Goddamn maggot. Drag your ass to the gym and do some reps right now.
Really?
Another futile thunk sounds in the brisk coastal air.
This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
Just have to step in.
He smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement. You can just reach in now.
It went better than I expected. Open it from the inside.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Admire the posters.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps. And gentle tragedy. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? but you can't put your finger on whom exactly.
Posters.
The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least.
I wonder so many radio stations.
For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too.
There's everything to do with the radio.
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without the dial key.
What else is
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes, some dead actresses, and a rusty old toolbox under the seat. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Why would I want to put a previous sandpaper to the gas pedal?
Sandpaper? A novel technique. Must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot.
That is weird.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front, and a pull-up, a metallic drawer, slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
What folded newspaper?
It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
Got to know.
It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
Pushing, pull out.
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. You close the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Seems like something the police would do. What do you think of all this, Ken?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
But the movie posters, how do they factor into all this?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
A lot of women there, especially for a lady driver's cabin. Could the film industry be involved? That was the best one.
I'm going to say no.
Or do you think this is kept to the union?
We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Everard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road.
Will the RCA work with an investigation to this?
We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I'll call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, Sometime later, when we're done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
What do you think, kid?
The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madre grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
Corruption.
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Yeah, debrief over.
Debrief over. After you.
Sound. Back to boat lady. Yeah, obviously got a minute. Yeah, I do actually. Tommy.
I saw you poking around in Lady Driver's lorry. She in trouble?
Bryce just told us where our cabin is, really searched it.
Still better than me, I guess. I told you there's plenty of others who tell on her. But, is she in trouble?
Sorry, but I can't disclose the facts of an official investigation to you.
It's that bad. Man, what should I do? What should I do to help her?
The last thing we need is more civilians involved.
Yeah, maybe I should just keep my head down and work on my rhymes while I can.
What's the plan with those rhymes anyway?
Oh, you know. Tommy Leham's gonna be a musician. Sprechgesang, but with beats. I've got a lot of free time on the road to hone my craft.
What Tommy Laham?
Tommy Lam was taken. My real name's Jerry Lafitte. Tommy's way better.
It's more him.
It is, to be fair. Good luck with that, Tommy. Go run.
Yeah, you too. Be safe, detective.
That was cool. Yeah, let's put to Joyce. Maybe. Can I get their bowl back? What if I go into the water down there? Let's talk, Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I spoke with a lineman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Where exactly are these? I was located.
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
Nah.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
How are the lynching and the strike connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith.
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What the?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Fuck.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
So this is not Disco.
It is very far from Disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to.
The débardeurs have over 2...
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant?
Oops.
It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Suggestion. Yes.
Yes.
Since you are sharing, man, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
What can you tell me about Crenel?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands. Countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay, anything else you got?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ACP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
She contact the company and tell them to call it off.
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
So the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
What are these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining
Is this the woman
colleagues
at the Whirling
believe.
Rags?
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
Never really know. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice. But she had sympathy for this man.
You liked him?
Liked is a bit strong. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills.
His name was?
Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
That's all right, then. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I
I'm
think.
fucking into this, man.
Light brown
I
hair.
want to find out who did it.
Accent. Oronese. Or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining two mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
Starting to know what they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Okay, we'll stick with it for a moment.
That's wise. Our goal is to avert catastrophe. Besides, you're likely to encounter them sooner or later.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Shit. That's enough now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Should have given me money if I told her about the investigation. Fuck that. Wait a sec, what am I doing now? All these fucking balls. Have I been in here before? I don't remember. I'll mute myself for a sec because I'm going to be eating some crisps. Who is this?
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck, in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
Sir, don't be ridiculous. I certainly will not give you money. I would be doing you a grave psychic disfavor. One has to earn one's success, even if one is a police officer. Handouts are nothing but manipulation. All they do is make you dependent.
What is this insolence? She misunderstood.
Now, hey there. Sounds like someone isn't taking responsibility for the energy they bring into this space. Tribute? Power? These are not the traditions we're used to in this part of the world. Oh yes, helps to have an anchor in these times. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See, everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they?
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly magnetic energy. Good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir.
Doesn't feel like it's thriving. Feels ghostly.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl? Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. You must be kidding. There's nothing like that happening. Good sir. What does a young child do with money anyway? No, I save it for her, as a fund. She's securing her financial future out there.
Slap the cuffs on her.
Oh, of course, officer. Good work. Are we done with the jokes now?
Yes, we've had quite enough fun here. Right.
Mind your own business, sir. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their children. It's none of your or anyone's business.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses. It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow. The vows are blood and flesh. Lower intestine, the term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Brota.
I'm back from Ian. That woman was really weird. My stomach is even weirder. What is fascism, though?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems?
Financiers.
Yes, them, but also Women.
Yeah, man.
Women, men of Wu. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Wu men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that Wu men need to know their place.
Have some kind of stomach tissue.
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Why am I getting this?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Fascism sounds so bad though. What if we call it something else, like traditionalism?
Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking.
Okay, stomach, I've made up my mind about fascism.
You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota.
Oh man. I don't know. Absolutely not. I'm not going to be plagued by an upset stomach.
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Still keep, what board games do you have here?
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational game for those interested in geography. Graubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family?
Do I have friends?
Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Yes, kids, friends, chicks, I have all of those.
Then you're a lucky man, officer. Children are the greatest of treasures. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
Fuck that. Just take a slow walk.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over.
Stalking, what's all this crime fiction?
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
What for the display of books?
Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Oh god.
Shelves filled to the brim with
Type of fascist magic.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to...
Right, I don't need to know.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people. Several maps have been... The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Why is the Martinez one so cheap?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
I want to buy the map of Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your...
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab in your inventory.
Okay. Well, those maps. No, it's not.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
There's a path through the green.
Your finger moves through the finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the map.
Yeah. I haven't really been. There's a lot of shit I've missed. Got a map there. Where's the tunnel? Right, just left. Let's get the key off guard.
Can I help you?
It's the trash container out back the old.
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you.
I wonder what this feeling is.
Prod at him and find out.
What if I told you I am a homo, or soon to be one, rummaging through that trash will you keep me up to?
Yes.
I need those leftovers to survive?
Sir, I'm sorry the RCM is having financial trouble, but it's not this establishment's problem.
You seem a bit casty regarding even your leftovers from the poor.
Callous? What are you, Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard.
We need those keys.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
I've seen something about here at the Whirling Gap. Thing we need to talk about.
What thing?
Saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved for the Union.
Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
He hates the Union, but grudgingly recognizes its power over him. So he's directing his frustration at G.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
It's after 4. The sign said reserved starting 4. Why isn't anyone in the mess hall?
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or laying low after the, lynching.
Whatever he may feel about you, he can't miss the opportunity to throw you a look of what he assumes is shared understanding. Go with it.
Yes, I think I see you.
Yeah. The Union guys think they're untouchable. They probably fucking killed that guy or something, and now think they can hide out till it all blows over, and it's fair weather again in Martinez.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
Something else I want to ask.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the Whirling later.
Guys, or another thing at Whirling.
Another thing. Great. I love... Yes?
Oh, I'm going to sing karaoke here.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
Oh.
Hey. Psst.
Yeah.
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Yeah.
Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too?
Well, it worked out really well for me. I'm a love winner.
Good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan communism. Word on the street is it's going to be 10,000 times larger than any communism previously attempted by human beings. Is that right?
How come there's a word on the street?
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
Alright, that sounds like me.
Funky style. Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Roll up your sleeves and start building communism. Like first, what's this communism even about?
Failure. It's about failure.
I don't do failure.
Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped, shat on. While everyone else is out partying, having a callous laugh, you will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist.
There is power in a battle.
Now get to work, comrade.
If we stand hand in
Get
hand.
the fighting squads and the animal wagons ready.
That's ruled in every land on Industrial Union brand. This guy's crazy, man. Oh, pardon me. I apologize.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook.
What a vibe this guy lives, man.
As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garancy and Quebec. It must be his name. Garancy. Garancy Quebec. Sounds representative.
Ah, Garassi, I have some questions to ask.
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air.
Yes, some pots
He
there.
smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn.
You need to say anything else? Stay masculine? I have to equip a flashlight at some point. I think I have a flashlight. Still don't know how to sell all these bottles either. Where am I going again? I've got the key to open this thing. Okay, no, still there. Little prick.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock this. With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Why?
Maybe you shouldn't. Of course you should. This is your time to shine, Hobocop. Dive into that dumpster for extra content.
Don't I just have a premonition that there's something in there?
There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow.
What?
Your hand is still on the lid.
Open the lid.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Dig in Hobocop style for extra content.
Wow, an Armistice caliber 50 knock cannon. Half wrapped in paper tissues. So shiny.
That's a nut cannon?
It's a giant rifle, and it's very expensive. Not as expensive as that fat string of pearls snaking around the rotten banana peels, however. And is that Cordon Electric's preamp with Electra F2 tubes? It is. That catches quite a price. We're talking 12,000, easy. Unless you're into hi-fi yourself.
I am into hi-fi.
That's too bad, because none of those things are actually in there. There's just food waste and crisp wrappings.
Cruel jest, there must be something.
All you see is a broken mug with a racist depiction of the Yellow Man frolicking in saffron.
Antique.
Only in its social sensibility.
Type of book. Look at the boxes of carton.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow, a box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Picking the rags.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there?
Something slimy catches your eye.
I'll reach for it.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
Bag the shirt.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of red-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. Just garbage.
That's all I think.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Yeah, we need to... is it some of the world who might be involved then?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked, and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Yeah, we need to ask the kids to put them there.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
The lieutenant nods. Then, It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and nothing. It's nothing. What's this?
What?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Pick it out.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
What this
It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash?
Must have been cramped in my stall.
Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork. It probably contains notes on numerous ongoing investigations, and could even list undercover operatives, informants. I suggest integrating it into your style, for all our sakes.
Okay, I'll do that.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do.
But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or... It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Anything else?
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart.
Toilet paper.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Take it off.
Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila! The ledger now looks marginally better.
Inspect the clip.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Finger across the yellow.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before.
I return. What is this?
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property.
Interesting. What kind of information?
It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
Interesting. What kind of information?
It depends. Aside from...
How many years you've been on the force?
How can I read it?
Any capable light with the right... All RCM vehicles have had lights designed to reveal halogen watermark.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you.
Is there a mention of a naming convention here?
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name.
I've written in capital letters too.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
Oh.
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the Ukar Parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
In my cases appears to employ some sort of naming convention.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
No, I mean the non-numeric one with titles.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
Why is that?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
I seem to have named the case the Square Bullet Hole Murders.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out.
What happened to him?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
I have to open an official case. Is there a room?
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. The tasks you've completed flow out of the pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager.
That's not the one we want.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the Citizens Militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
So have you by any chance have named our case?
No, actually. Any ideas?
The Furies are at home in the mirror. Shit on a stick, the hanged man.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Under inspecting these.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Browse the yellow papers.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copy of paper. Some neon yellow. 3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station call, a monetary penalization, a tool for manipulation. Give the lowest amount and people will be ingratiated to you. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for a dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters, color of the irises, predation marks, condition. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. What delicious power hid within this pathetic mess. You feel better. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission. Something rattles inside. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. It is not what you end up doing.
Fuck.
You squeeze the plastic to slide it open. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess suddenly the acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna come off because it's too much words and I'm so zoning out here. Gotta ask Kuna. Gotta read the watermarks. Gotta do a few things. I'll be back at some point. I don't know when. I'll be back. Maybe next week. Probably not. Maybe in 2 weeks. Who knows? I'll be back. Peace out.